Hello everyone, this is Lata Akula. In this video we are going to study about new concept cell wall. In the last video we have studied introduction to the cell and what is the cell made up of. In that we have studied that there are three components which are common for almost all the cells. They were plasma membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm. In the plasma membrane, we have studied that the animal cells. In the cell, the plasma membrane it is the outermost covering of the cell. In animal cells, it is the outermost layer. But whereas in plant cell, in addition to the plasma membrane, there is one more layer is present which is called as cell wall. This cell wall is absent in the plant cells. So the presence or absence of the cell wall is also one of the major differences between the plant cell and animal cells. So animal cells they do not have any cell wall, whereas the plant cells they have a cell wall. And here the cell wall is present in which organisms? They were absent in animal cells but they were present in bacteria, algae, fungi, cyanobacteria along with higher plants. So where it is present? It is present in bacteria, algae, fungi, cyanobacteria along with the higher plants. And here, of course, the cell wall is common for all these organisms, but the chemical composition is not similar for almost all these cells. For majorly, the major component present in the cell wall is the carbohydrate. The carbohydrate is the major chemical substance present in the cell wall. If you see in the plant cell wall, the plant cell it is made up of with polysaccharide. Plant cell wall is made up of with polysaccharides like cellulose, hemicellulose and pectin. So these are the chemical substances present in the cell walls of the plants. And if you see the cell wall it is a rough rigid structure and a tough rigid structure and it is highly porotic. Because of the presence of this porotic nature, it allows some of the substances to pass in and out of the cell. And here animal cells they do not have any cell wall. And in the case of the cell wall, we'll study one more term called as plasmolysis. And in the last video, while we are studying about osmosis, we have studied three conditions like hypertonic, hypotonic and isotonic solutions, right? For example, if we placed any plant cells, living plant cell, not the dead one, living plant cell in a hypertonic solution. What is meant by hypertonic solution? The hypertonic solution is nothing but highly concentrated solution where the concentration of the water is less. So if we kept the plant cell in the hypertonic solution, living plant cell in the hypertonic solution, what will happen? Osmosis generally occurs. How it occurs? From the cell, the water will released out into the external media. Here, finally what will happen? The cell contents will shrinks away from the cell wall. This is the cell wall, right? But the contents inside the cell will be shrinks away. That condition is called as plasmolysis. That condition is called as plasmolysis. And whereas if a fungi, plant or bacterial cell, if it kept inside a hypotonic solution, this is the hypertonic solution and this is the hypotonic solution. What is meant by hypotonic solution? The hypotonic solution means highly diluted solution. Here the concentration of the water is high when compared to the substances dissolved in it. So when we placed a living plant cell in the hypotonic solution, what will happen? The excess water will enter inside the cell. Finally, that leads to the swelling up of the cell. If in the case of the animal cell, what will happen? The excess amount of the water will go on enter into the cell will swells up and finally it will burst. But whereas in the case of the plant cell, because they consist of the cell wall, because of the presence of the cell wall, these plant cells that can withstand the pressure created by these hypotonic solutions, and they will not burst easily like the animal cells. So this is the one of the major advantage for the presence of the cell wall in the plant cells, because when we kept them in the inside the hypotonic solution, they will not easily burst like the animal cells. And what are the functions of the cell wall? If you see the functions of the cell wall, they provide mechanical strength, and they provide strength, and they provide proper shape to the cell also, and they protect the cell and prevent the excess swelling and bursting up of the cell, as we have studied already in this condition. This is about the cell wall. In the next video we are going to study about the nucleus. In this video we are going to study about nucleus. So it is the another second feature which is important for almost all the cells. So what is a nucleus? If you see any cell, there is a central prominent structure that is called as nucleus. That is, there is a central prominent structure inside the cell is called as nucleus. If it is a cell, there is a central prominent structure is present. That central prominent structure is called as nucleus. We are going to study about that structure. And this nucleus, it consists of a double layered membrane like structure is present. See this, how many layers are present? 2 layers are present. This double layered membrane was present, which is called as nuclear envelope. This nuclear envelope consists of 2 layers. One is inner nuclear membrane and outer nuclear membrane. Outer nuclear membrane and inner nuclear membrane are the 2 membranes present in the nuclear envelope. And within the nuclear membrane, there are several pores were present. These pores are called as nuclear pores. By means of these nuclear pores, here it will communicate with its surrounding cytoplasm. The cytoplasm will be present right around it. So the contents will be communicate with the surrounding cytoplasm. And here, if you see the nucleus, it consists of chromosomes. In the dividing cells, it consists of chromosomes. In the non-dividing cell, if it was in the non-dividing state, the cell was in the non-dividing state, there is a entangled thread-like structure is present. This thread-like structure is called as chromatin. What is this? This thread-like structure is called as chromatin. This chromatin, when the cell is dividing, this chromatin will condense and form a rod-like structures called as chromosomes. This chromatin itself form the chromosomes. It will tightly condense and form a rod-like structure in the form of a chromosome. In the dividing cell, the chromosomes were present. In the non-dividing cell, it is in the form of a thread-like, entangled thread-like structure, which is called as chromatin. If we see the chromosomes are the rod-shaped structures which are present in the dividing cells only. In the non-dividing state, these chromosomes will not appear. We can't say in the form of a chromosome shape. And what is the function of the chromosome? Its function is it helps in the inheritance of the characters from the parents to the offsprings, parents to the daughter cells. So the characters will be inherited right from our parents. We are getting some characters. How we are getting? By means of these chromosomes only, we are getting the features from our parents. So that inheritance function is done by the chromosomes. And here, these chromosomes, they consist of DNA. What the chromosome consists of? What is the inheriting material present inside the chromosome? That is nothing but the DNA. What is the full form of DNA? Deoxyribonucleic acid. It is a full form of DNA. And because of the presence of DNA in the chromosomes, we are getting the features. We are getting some of the features from our parents. And here, these chromosomes, in addition to the DNA, they also consist of proteins. So, what are chromosomes made up of? They are made up of DNA and proteins. And if you see the DNA consists of information for the construction and organization of the cell. So, the cell, it has to be constructed and properly organized. That information is present within the DNA only. So, that information is present in the DNA. And here, the functional segments present in the DNA are called as genes. So within the DNA also there are several functional segments are present. Those functional segments are called as genes. And here, so we have studied chromatin. Chromatin is nothing but in the non-dividing state of a cell within the nucleus there is an entangled thread-like structure is present. That entangled thread-like structure is called as chromatin. This chromatin during the division of cell itself condense and form a rod-like structure called as chromosome. That chromosome consists of DNA and proteins, and that DNA it carries the information for the construction and organization of the cell, and within the DNA there are several functional units are present which are called as genes. And here if you see the nucleus, it plays a central important role in the cellular reproduction. During the reproduction, what will happen? During cellular reproduction, one cell divides into two daughter cells, right? For that process, this nucleus plays an important role. And if you see the bacteria, within the bacteria, the nucleus, if this is the bacteria, bacterial cell. Here, in the normal, any cell, plant cell or animal cell, the nucleus will look like this. The nucleus is surrounded by an envelope. But in bacteria, this is the nucleus. Here, there is no membrane. So here we are seeing the membrane, but in the bacteria, we are not able to see any membrane. So that means the nucleus, the bacteria that is poorly defined, consists of poorly defined nuclear region which is devoid of any membrane, which is lacking the membrane around the nucleus. That divided structure is called as a nucleoid. What is the nucleoid? The nucleoid is present in the bacteria, which is nothing but the nucleus without nuclear membrane or nuclear envelope is called as nucleoid. And here, so because of the presence of that nature, the bacteria and cyanobacteria, we are calling them as prokaryotes. What we are calling them? We are calling those bacteria and cyanobacteria as prokaryotes. Here, pro means they consist of very old nucleus or very so they consist of false nucleus is present. And whereas some of the organisms they have organized, some organisms they have well defined and organized nuclear region is present. See, this is the organized one, this is not well organized. This is defined nucleus, this is not defined nucleus. Here they consist of defined nuclear region, and those organisms which consist of well defined nuclear region are called as eukaryotes. Eu means true, karyons means nucleus. They consist of true and well developed nucleus. Examples for the organisms which consist of the true nucleus which are surrounded by the nuclear membrane are all plants, animals, fungi, algae, protozoa. They consist of well-defined nuclear region in which the nucleus is surrounded by the nuclear membrane. But whereas in prokaryotes, they are primitive nucleus. Prokaryotes means what? They consist of primitive nucleus, very old nucleus which is devoid of any membrane. So those organisms which consist of primitive nucleus are devoid of nuclear membrane are called as prokaryotes. Examples for them are the bacteria and cyanobacteria. And here, these prokaryotes not only they lack the nuclear membrane, they also devoid of the cell organelles also. They do not have a proper cell organelles. Several cell organelles were also absent and which are present in the eukaryotes. So those cell organelles were present in the eukaryotes, but those are lacking in the prokaryotes. So this is about the nucleus. So once again we'll study about this. The nucleus is a double-layered membrane and it is a porotic one. The nucleus consists of chromosomes which are rod-shaped, and these rod-shaped chromosomes are visible only in the dividing cells. In the non-dividing state, it was in the form of a thread-like structure which is called as chromatin, and these chromosomes they consist of DNA and proteins, and within the DNA the information for the inheritance or construction of the organization of cells was present, and with the genes are the functional units of the DNA. And prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes, they have a nucleoid, and which is nothing but the nucleus without membrane, and whereas eukaryotes, they have a true nucleus which are with a nuclear membrane, which is surrounded by the nuclear membrane. So with this we have completed the nucleus. And if you like my video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel, Utakula Biology. Please keep watching.